heard you were a wild one. My bad, bro, my bad. Now, sleep. Why would you want to sleep on time and why would you want to sleep early? So that you can sleep more. And why would you want to sleep more? For those of you who go to the gym, sleeping more is literally going to help you with muscle recovery. It's literally going to make you more jacked. For those of you who go to the gym, this one statement alone should be enough to convince you to sleep more and sleep better. For those of you who do not go to the gym, what are you doing, bro? Get to the gym, bro. Get jacked, bro. Why wouldn't you want to get big, bro? Why wouldn't you want to get big and strong and muscular and all? My bad, my bad. Now, for those of you who don't go to the gym, think about sleep as like a multiplier on everything. Every single advantage you want to get in life, for example, greater attention span, greater reaction time, more groundedness, more presence, everything comes from like good sleep. Good sleep multiplies everything on top of that. Okay, for example, and bad sleep, you know this because when you sleep bad, everything just goes down. You're just not there. Your reaction time goes down. You just don't want to talk to anybody. Just energy crashes. Your basic texture of life, it goes down. So sleep is something that improves everything. All right, it improves every single aspect. Okay. Now these small things like attention span, reaction time, being present in the moment, and stuff. These things translate to real life, actual things. These are not just like small little factors. They add up to real life things. They add up to real life things like your communication skills, your performance in school, your actual decisions, that the way you navigate your life on a day-to-day basis. It all depends on like these small things which come from your sleep. So good sleep is the foundation of everything, I believe. All right, and I just learned this today. I was researching like willpower. Okay, willpower, which is basically the power that you use to avoid bad habits and do the good habits. All right, that power actually gets restored when you sleep. It's like a battery. Okay, for example, when you wake up, you're supposed to wake up with 100% willpower. Okay, if you sleep good, if you sleep perfect. All right, but some people, unfortunately, most people, me as well, sometimes, I'm guilty as well, wake up with like 75 already. And you're using that battery throughout the day. And when you sleep, it gets restored. But if you wake up with like 75 or like with 70 battery, then you're gonna keep spending that willpower on stuff, you're gonna keep spending that willpower on avoiding some bad habits. And when it comes to time, at the end of the day, it's gonna crack down, you know what I'm talking about, bro. You know what I'm talking about. You're just gonna crack down. And so, unfortunately, you need to be waking up with enough willpower to be able to avoid those bad habits. And if you want to build those good habits on top of the bad habits, you need willpower, bro, because you're avoiding the bad stuff and you're trying to do the good stuff as well. Imagine how much willpower that requires, bro. Sleep is the thing that gives you more willpower. Okay, your willpower gets restored when you sleep. That's what I learned today, bro. Today. So it's wild, bro. That's why you need to sleep better. You need to sleep on time. You just need to sleep more. Now, sleeping on time, bro. Now, the top 1% of sleepers. Now, sleeping in a certain minute window actually affects the quality of your sleep. It affects the quality of your sleep and it affects, I'll tell you. The top 1% sleepers in the world have a sleep window of 15 minutes. 15 minutes. And more than an hour of sleep window is so bad for your health. It's so bad. Having more than an hour of sleep window. For example, you sleep at 10:30, you sleep at like 11:30, or sleep at 11:45, or sleep at 12. That's normal, right? Apparently that's normal. You're watching a series, Prison Break is just too good. Your sleep time just goes up. All right? And so that is so bad for you. All right? For example, there are studies like people who have like haphazard sleep times they have actually a greater risk of heart disease, bro. 26% greater risk. I don't know the exact window of like how much the gap was between the sleep, but like it was a study of like I think 72,000 participants. 72,000 participants and a 26% greater risk of heart disease or injury. It was a heart attack, bro. I'm not gonna get into specifics, bro. It's bad. All right. Not getting enough sleep is bad, okay? Not sleeping on time, not sleeping in a certain window. Not sleeping in a certain window is bad. That's not even talking about like how long you sleep. Just the time when you sleep. All right? And so you need to be sleeping you need to be aiming for a 15-minute window. That's what I aim for. Now I've gotten this time down to like a 20-minute window, a 20, which I think is very, very good, bro. Of course, I'm not consistent. You know, there's sometimes some stuff happens. You know, I I eat a bit late. You know, I live in a dorm, so you know, even in the dorm, I go down a bit late. This and stuff. You know, some days I can't make it, but generally, it's a 20-minute window. And when I'm really good, you know, when I'm trying to consciously, you know, trying to work towards this, I gotta sleep early to wake up early the next day. You know, I can get it down to like a 10-15 minute window. Now, the trick that I use, which I haven't heard like any place else, but I found it to be like super, super effective, is turning your mobile phone or whichever device, if you're using a device, you know, before you sleep, turning it to warm mode. Warm. You know, just turn the light on it to warm. For example, your phone has like color hues or something. I think it's normally on cool or it's in the middle, you know. Just go to the settings, decide like colors and stuff. I think you go there and you turn it from cool to warm after sundown, which is after Maghrib. I'm Muslim, bro. Alhamdulillah. A bad. Yeah. And so the main advice is that you should like drop all screens, you know, 1 hour before bed, but like, bro, I'm in a dorm, bro. I'm a student, bro. I gotta be on my phone. Sometimes I'm studying directly from my phone, you know. And so you need to be on a screen. I understand that you cannot get off the screen, but I think it would be better if you got off the screen. But I also think that the red light that comes from the screen. Now here's my argument. Now, your body has like a what was the word, man? Circadian rhythm. Oh, big word, man. Your body has a circadian rhythm. And you basically, when your ancestors used to like live out in the wild, when our ancestors used to live out in the wild, the red light from the sundown actually triggers your brain to go to sleep. The sundown, the sun going down, it becomes like orange and red light, you know, when the sun is going down. And so it triggers your brain to shut off, to go to sleep. And you can artificially create that in your room. You're literally looking at a screen, whatever you are doing, just don't be on social media. Just don't be on social media. Because social media in itself, it's so reactive. It's so reactive, you know. There are like different colors, you know, it's bombarding you with like information, you know, you have to process and stuff. Bro, your attention is going from one place to the next, to the next, to the next. And all right, a little bit of side point, but you know what the opposite of like social media is? The opposite of social media is meditation. I'm telling you this because I just made a video on meditation like yesterday, and that's the opposite of social media. You can go check out the video if you want, but meditation is basically like, you know, if you're breathing, you're basically trying to focus on your breath during meditation, you know, and so you're trying to focus on one thing. So you're trying to build up that focus, you know, you're trying to build up that concentration, you know. Yeah, if you want, you can see the past video if you want to know about that. But yeah, basically what I do is I put my phone on warm after sundown. So after I pray the Maghrib prayer, I put my phone, like I manually do it, or I can put a timer on my phone as well. Yeah, I should probably do that, but I just do it manually. I put it on warm, bro. So the red light that's coming, it's actively telling my brain to shut down. Actively. And what I can tell from my experience, bro, this works, bro. This legit works. And I had a friend of mine as well. He had like, he couldn't sleep early basically. And he used to use like sleeping pills and stuff. And I told him to try this as well. And he said it worked. It worked for him. He still uses the sleeping pills, bro. I don't know, bro. He's messed up, man. He's messed up. But like, even he said it worked as well. And I'm just here to tell you my experience, bro. Some days I do it after Maghrib and I don't even last till Isha, bro. Oh, that was a weird way to put it, my bad. But I sleep before Isha. I put it on Maghrib. I'm using my phone for like studying and stuff. I do not use social media, okay? I do not use like Instagram. I'm trying to get that shit down to zero, bro. Zero screen time, all right, on Instagram or whatever. But if I'm like reviewing my notes or whatever, if I'm studying or if I'm on like WhatsApp or I'm talking to someone, the phone is literally actively telling me to sleep, bro. Like the thing that's supposed to harm me, I'm actually using it for good, you know. Think about that. How cool is that? And so that's pretty cool. And another thing that helps is right after Maghrib, which is around the time that I have my food and stuff. I've had my food when it's Maghrib, you know. And so right after Maghrib, I brush my teeth and I prepare for sleep, bro. I prepare for sleep. And then I go to bed and then I turn my phone to warm, which is, I think, yeah, it's best, bro. It's the best advice that I can give you when you want to go to sleep early, because it actively tells your brain to shut down. Bro. Yeah, that's it, bro. And that's how I've been sleeping within 20 minutes for the past, I think, like 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this for a very long time, and it works, bro. It works. Sleep good, bro. Sleep good. Yeah, that's it.